Okay, time for another game of Marvel Champions. Today we are going to be moving on to our next combination of hero and villain. Today we're going to be playing as Deadpool, which is just the silliest character they have made for the game, which obviously it should be. Um, there are a bunch of things in his deck where he has kind of like pasted over and rewritten things. But if it has one of these yellow boxes with an asterisk in it, that means usually it's going to have some kind of a clarification that's from the actual designers of the game saying, this is how this works, or ignore this, or things like that. So Deadpool has made his attack, thwart, and defense multiplied by 100, but then mechanically you ignore them. So he's got a bunch of cards in his deck like that where he has things like pasted over. So like this card here is originally called Get Behind Me, but he's got it pasted over and it says Get in Front of Me. And then there's text on the bottom here that is different from what it normally is. And then there's a designer note here that says we can only have one of these in our deck at a time. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. Obviously, there's a bunch of things where he is going to, like, quote unquote, break the fourth wall. For example, this is the first time I've ever had to make proxies for Marvel Champions, specifically for this card. It says after you play Armed to the Teeth, search your collection for one weapon upgrade from any aspect and attach it face down here. So this is specifically saying that we can look for any weapon upgrade in our entire collection. So rather than actually literally searching through all of my cards, I just made copies of the cards that counts for, and just made proxies basically, and then threw a playing card into the sleeve with it to make it feel like it's actually a card. So these are all weapon upgrades from any aspect. So this is any card in our collection that matches that. Some of them are going to be more useful than others, obviously. And then with the newest expansion, the newest Age of Apocalypse expansion, I haven't gone through and seen if there's any cards in that expansion yet that qualify, so I haven't made proxies for those yet. I'll have to do that at some point. But yeah, so Deadpool is obviously just a silly character. He purposefully wants to take damage. If he dies, he doesn't. When he dies, it says on here, when he would die, instead set your hit point to 1, dial to 1, flip over to alter ego form and add an acceleration token to the main scheme. So then he'll flip over and then he can heal from 1 all the way back up to full with his 8 recovery. And then he's got a bunch of cards that will be more effective with more acceleration tokens on the main scheme and things like that. So he is not a hero that I generally play with the expectation to win. It's more just, let's see what happens today with this insanity. I am trying a new camera angle. I'm constantly trying to make this better. In order to make this camera angle work, though, I have my phone like up on a box, and so it's kind of in my way as far as like playing goes. So I'll do my best here, but I think this angle works a little bit better. But if you care and want to let me know, just let me know. Okay. Our villain today is going to be Green Goblin. Specifically, it is the first version of Green Goblin. When you buy the Green Goblin scenario pack, you get 2 different versions of Green Goblin. This one is one where you're going to be fighting against both Green Goblin and his human alter ego, Norman Osborn. So we've got Green Goblin on this side and then Norman Osborn on this side. The second scenario is just straight Green Goblin. There's no Norman Osborn involved at all. So the way that this scenario is going to work is he's going to have this environment card over here off to the side. And at the beginning of the game, it starts on this criminal enterprise side. And while it's on this side, we are not going to be able to deal damage to him. And he's not going to be attacking us. Instead, he is going to, whenever he would attack, he's going to build counters up on this card. And whenever he would take damage, he's going to lose counters from this card. Eventually, we're going to make those counters on this card go away, and when they do, he'll flip over to his Green Goblin side, and this card will flip over to the State of Madness side, and then essentially the opposite will happen. So when he's on this side, we can deal damage to him, and he can attack us. But then when he schemes, we remove counters from this, and when that eventually loses all of its counters, he'll flip back over and be back on the Norman Osborn side. And so he's going to be flipping back and forth, kind of like we flip back and forth between hero and alter ego form. He's going to be doing something similar. He's trying to build his business empire, and also he's going nuts and doing Green Goblin things. So it's kind of cool. I really like this scenario where it kind of makes you play a little differently, where you're having to deal with him on both different sides. The other Green Goblin scenario, which we'll play next, is a little more straightforward. It's just knock out the villain, but it's still really cool. These two scenarios came out like right after the game first came out. I think this might have even been the very first villain pack that came out after the core box, and there's still two of my favorite scenarios. They're just really fun. Now, they might not be... This is what I get when I try to do things when I can't see. Let me pause it real quick and I'll grab that. Okay, sorry about that. When I 3D printed this little stand, I had to cut half of it off basically in order to get it to fit. So, and I've never glued that piece back on, so part of it fell off just a second ago. Okay, so that should give you an idea of what we need to do. And so let's go ahead and get started. I also have had some comments asking if I would show my hand, so I'll show it at least after I draw, just so you can see what I've got here. So this is what I've got. This side scheme is pretty cool. Player side scheme, it stays in play until you get rid of it. Obviously, it's got 3 threat to start with, and it gives you all of the bad icons that you can get. So you can't remove threat from the main scheme while this is in play. The main scheme gets threat on it faster. Boost icons are increased by 1. You get an extra encounter card every round. But the benefit of having this out is that you get +2 hand size while it's out, which is really cool. Let's see. This one is pretty good since he's going to add a bunch of acceleration icons a lot of the times. This will make it so that the main scheme is a little bit more difficult for the villain to finish. So it says increase the target threat value of attached scheme by 2 for each acceleration token on it. So every acceleration token that's on it is making it a little bit harder, just to kind of compensate for having those acceleration tokens on it. Let's see, this is during a villain turn, so when an encounter card is revealed. Armed to the teeth we talked about. I can pull weapon cards out of my collection, and then this card is fire is kind of cool. So if you keep this card in your hand, it will deal damage to you. So at the end of your turn, if it's still in your hand, you take a damage. But then when you eventually play it, you deal damage equal to the amount of damage you've taken. So if you're at 1 health, you can play this and deal 8 damage, basically. So this card is not great to play at the beginning of the game, but I could just hold it in my hand until, and as it deals damage to me, eventually I will deal a bunch of damage. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to just go ahead and put Live Dangerously into play right away. And that's got 3 threat on it. And then the only other thing that I can really do right now is I could play Armed to the Teeth. The way it works is I have to go find that weapon upgrade from my collection, and then I attach it to this card. And then I exhaust it, and I can swap the card that I attached to it with a weapon I control. So I have to have a weapon in play before this is actually useful, because I have to play a weapon and then swap that weapon with the one that I attached here. So not the most useful card right now. This is not the best starting hand other than Live Dangerously. Live Dangerously is pretty good because that's going to give me more cards. Let's see. I think I am going to... I think I'm going to discard... a resource. I think I'm going to discard get in front of me, and I'm going to play It Ain't Over. It doesn't do anything yet, but it's going to be useful later when I eventually add acceleration tokens onto the main scheme. So I'm going to attach that to the main scheme, so I'm just going to set that there. So right now, that's not doing anything because there aren't any acceleration tokens on the main scheme, but there definitely will be eventually. And then the rest of this, I think I'm going to hold on to. Okay, I did forget it. So before I flip over to hero form, while I'm in alter ego form, I could discard a card from my hand, search my deck for a Deadpool event, and add it to my hand. So I think I'm going to do that. So I think I'm going to just discard this Armed to the Teeth. I haven't found a great use for that card yet. He does have weapon upgrades, but it's just so convoluted that for the most part I haven't been wanting to do that. So I can look through my deck and find an event, a Deadpool event. So it has to be one of my hero-specific events, which I have a decent amount of. Okay, so I have 3 to choose from, 4 to choose from. So the 4 I have to choose from are maximum effort, which is take any amount of damage up to your remaining hit points and deal an equal amount of damage to an enemy. So basically right now I have 9 health, so I could take 9 damage and deal 9 damage. But right now, if I were to attack him, he doesn't actually take that damage. It would just remove counters from over here. So I really only need to do 2 damage to him right now to get him to flip over, which I could do with my basic attack. So I could do 2 damage with my basic attack, and then that would cause him to flip over. And then I could play this card and deal myself a bunch of damage and then hit him for damage. So I think that might be what I'd do. Exhausting Personality is place an acceleration token on the main scheme, stun and confuse the villain, or exhaust an identity to draw a card for each acceleration token on the main scheme. I can get another This Card is Fire, and I can take any amount of damage to remove an equal amount of threat from a scheme. I don't have a ton of reason to do that right now, so yeah, I think I'm going to take maximum effort. So it says discard a card from your hand. I did that. Search your deck for a Deadpool event and add it to your hand. Limit once per round. So I did that, and then I'm going to shuffle the rest of my deck. Now the question is, do I have enough to pay for... Oh yeah, maximum effort is free, so I can do that for free. Okay. All right, so I am going to go ahead and then flip over and do what I said, and I'm going to do my basic attack of 2 on Norman Osborn. When I attack him, any damage I would deal removes counters from here instead. And then that causes Criminal Enterprise to flip over, and it comes in with 2 counters again. And then Norman Osborn flips over to Green Goblin side. When revealed, deal 3 indirect damage to each player in hero form. So I'm going to take 3 damage. And then I am going to go ahead and play maximum effort, and I'm going to deal myself 4 damage to deal 4 damage to Green Goblin. So I'm going to knock myself down to 2 and deal him 4 damage down to 10. And the reason I want to do that is because I am going to take a damage for This Card is Fire. And I don't want to knock myself out, so I'm not going to knock myself down to 1 with maximum effort because I don't want to die yet. So I am going to do that. And then we are going to ready, and my hand size with Deadpool is 5, so I'm going to draw 5, up to 5, so I'm going to draw 3. All right, I got an endurance, I got a mulligan, and I got that exhausting personality. Endurance will give me extra hit points, which is obviously good. Mulligan will let me discard my hand and draw a new one. But it has to be the first card I play at the beginning of my turn. Okay, so then we're going to go through Green Goblin's turn. He is going to get 1 threat on the main scheme. And then he is going to attack me for 3. And it's actually going to be, he's going to get 2 threat on the main scheme because of this. And then he's going to attack me for 3, plus 1 is 4, and I'm going to get 2 encounter cards. I'm probably going to die, so even if I defended, I'm probably going to die. So I probably shouldn't have kept this card as fire because I was probably going to die anyway. Yeah, let's just say I got rid of that and I'll draw a different card to replace it. I forgot to deal myself a damage for it anyway, so... oh, and man, I'm just making all kinds of mistakes. My hand size should be +2 as well because of Live Dangerously. So I have 5 cards now. I should have 2 more. So I've got Lady Deadpool and Yoo-Hoo. Okay. Okay, so then I think I did everything else correctly. So he's got 2 threat on the main scheme at the beginning of his turn, and then he's attacking me for 3 and a guaranteed +1, so he's attacking me for 4. I only defend for 1, so even if he gets no more boost icons, I would still be getting knocked out. So he's going to hit me for 4. I'm not going to defend it. He's going to hit me for 4. Plus 2 is 6. So I am going to get knocked out. When I get knocked out, he adds an acceleration token to the main scheme. And I reset to 1. And I flip over to Alter Ego side. Okay, and then he is going to give me 2 encounter cards. Normal 1, +1 for Live Dangerously. And then I do have some ways to cancel things. So I've got the meta knowledge. When an encounter card is revealed, cancel all of its effects and discard it, but I take a damage for each icon in that card's boost area. So if one of these 2 is not great, then I can do that. Okay, so the first one is Mad Genius. When revealed, he's in Green Goblin form. So Green Goblin attacks the hero with the fewest hit points remaining. If no attack was made this way, this card gains Surge. So he can't attack me because I'm not in hero form, so that would mean that it would gain Surge. So I'm not going to cancel that because it's just going to give me another encounter card, so I'll just grab the new encounter card and maybe cancel that. So my second one is Private Security Specialist. It has guard. While this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. Place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. Okay. So if I cancel this one, I would have to take 2 damage, I think is what it said. Yeah, and so that means I would have to add yet another acceleration counter onto him. So I think... I'll just have to deal with it. So I'll put that guy in front of me. And then my last encounter card for the round is All in a Day's Work. Place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 2 madness counters from State of Madness. So this one I think I do want to do because I don't want him to flip back over to Norman Osborn's side because I want to be able to attack him. Though I can't really attack him right now anyway because of the Private Security Specialist. So yeah, actually, let's just let that go through. So he's going to remove 2 madness counters from State of Madness. And when he removes those, that means he's going to flip back over to Norman Osborn's side. State of Madness will flip back over to Criminal Enterprise, and it will reset with those 2 hit points, or 2 counters. Okay. So... while I'm on Wade Wilson's side, I can heal for 8, so I will go ahead and do that. Heal back up to 9. And then I am definitely going to want to put this endurance in play. So I think I'm going to spend 1 to play that endurance, and that gives me +3 hit points. So it increases my maximum and my current. So my max is now 12, and I get to heal up to 12. So that is going to be attached to me there. Okay, then while I'm in alter ego form, I can discard a card from my hand to search for a Deadpool event. I'm going to go ahead and discard this mulligan since I didn't end up using it as my first card. So I get to find a Deadpool event. Okay, so I can do this card is fire again, or I can do maximum effort, or I can do Yoo-hoo. So I can remove some threat, I can deal some damage, or I can do this. I think that I am going to take, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 threat on the main scheme, but I can't remove that unless I get rid of Live Dangerously. Man. I might take the maximum effort just so I can get rid of my minion without having to take too much damage. So yeah, so I'm going to take maximum effort into my hand and then shuffle the other 2 back into my deck. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip over to hero form. And then I am going to let's go ahead and do maximum effort, and I will deal myself 4 damage to deal 4 damage to an enemy, and I'll do it to the private security specialist to get rid of him. And then I will spend these 2 resources to play Deadpool's Katana, and I can exhaust Deadpool's Katana and deal myself a damage to deal 2 damage to an enemy. And then the last thing I will do is I will play Exhausting Personality, and I will place an acceleration token on the main scheme to stun and confuse the villain. So he gets an acceleration token again, and he is stunned and confused. And then I will exhaust Deadpool's Katana take a damage to deal him 2 damage, which means he's going to remove these 2 counters. And flip over to Green Goblin side. And then when he flips over to Green Goblin side, I take 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. And then I think that's all I can do. So I'm going to ready and draw up to 7 because of the +2 from Live Dangerously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Got a bunch of allies this time. So I didn't talk about this yet, but another cool thing about Deadpool's deck with the pool aspect, the pink cards, is all of the allies have 0 consequential damage on them, so they don't die as quickly. But they all have negative icons on them, so they all have the things that make the villain have better turns, basically, but they don't have any consequential damage on them. Okay. Okay, so then on his turn, he would normally get 1 threat. He's getting a second one from here, so that's 2. And then he has 2 acceleration tokens, so that's 3, 4. So he would be getting 4 threat, which would bring him up to 8. So let's add the 4 on there. He's up to 8. Normally that would trigger because the threat limit is 7. But It Ain't Over says that the target threat is increased by 2 for each acceleration token on it. So that means it's increased by 4. So the actual threat limit for this one right now is 11, and it's at 8. So we're okay at the moment. Okay, then Green Goblin is going to attack me for 3, 4 plus a card. It's unlikely that I will survive, even if I defend, because I'm at 4 health. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play... Oops, didn't mean to drop that. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play Not My Responsibility. When any amount of threat would be placed on a scheme, you or your ally takes it as damage instead. I think I'm going to play that and take that 4 threat that he just put on the main scheme as damage instead. So I'm going to take that 4 threat back off of the main scheme. And I'm going to take 4 damage, which knocks me down to 0, which means he gets another acceleration token. And then I flip over to Alter Ego side. And reset to 1 health. Okay. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I need to take all that back. So I'm going to go back to 4 health. I'm going to reflip back over to hero side, take away that acceleration token that he just added, and take Not My Responsibility back into my hand. Because, so at the beginning of his turn, he would get the 4 threat, and then I would not have it move to the next scheme because its threat limit is increased by It Ain't Over. I forgot that I stunned and confused him because I've got it tucked under behind the confused. So when he would go to attack me, he can't because he's stunned. And so I wouldn't die yet. So we're going to do that. Okay, so that way I don't die either way. Okay, so then it is Time for encounter cards, and he is giving me 2 still because of Live Dangerously. So I'm going to grab 2 cards, reveal the first one. The first one is Hired Gun. When revealed, choose to either give the villain 1 face down boost card or place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. Criminal Enterprise isn't in play, so I have to do the other one. So he's going to get a face down boost card. I'll set that over here. So the next time he would activate, he gets an extra boost card, basically. So I've got that minion in front of me. And then my second encounter card is Oscorp Manufacturing Side Scheme. If he was in Norman Osborn form when this came out, he would get an additional threat here. For now, it just gets 2, and then it's another acceleration icon. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. Okay, so let's see what we can do. I need to get some allies in play, probably. Stick-to-itiveness would be pretty good, too. So I'm going to discard Mulligan because I'm not going to use it as itself. So I'm just going to spend it as a resource. And I will discard one of my 4-cost allies because I'm not going to be able to play both of them anyway. Let's discard Panda Pool. So I'll spend those 2 resources, and I'm going to play Bob, Agent of Hydra. After he enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy or remove 1 threat from a scheme. I think I'm just going to deal 2 damage because I need to eventually kill Green Goblin. And the ally, or the minion I have in front of me, does not have guard on it, so I might as well do damage up there while I can. And then Bob, Agent of Hydra. I guess I could do it here just to get rid of this guy because I could do 2 and then plus 1 more. Let's do that. Get rid of minions whenever you can. Okay, so I'll do the 2 damage that he does when he enters to the hired gun, and then I will exhaust him for 1 more damage to the hired gun. And when he exhausts and does his attack, he does not take any consequential damage. Okay. Then I will discard Not My Responsibility and Negasonic Teenage Warhead to play Stick-to-itiveness. And then I will exhaust Deadpool's Katana and deal a damage to myself to deal 2 damage to Green Goblin. And then I will... Okay, so let me do this. So the main scheme is at 8 right now. It is going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to go up by 6. So it's at 8. It's going to go up to 14. Its current limit is 11. So if I thwart for 2, it would only go to 12, but its current limit is 11, so it would still get triggered. So I think that I am going to... I'm going to thwart for 2, but I'm not going to do it on the main scheme. I'm going to do it on Oscorp Manufacturing just to make it so there aren't as many acceleration icons in play for when the next scheme comes into play. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Okay, so then we are going to ready all of our stuff. And draw our hand size, which is 7. So I have 1 card in hand, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. I got his other katana. So I got a resource card montage. This card generates 1 additional resource for each acceleration token on the main scheme to a maximum of 3. So right now this card would be producing 3 resources, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2 because there's 2 acceleration tokens on the main scheme. I also got Get Ragey, so I can ready an ally, and it gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. I got this if the following icons are in play. Right now, all of them are in play, so I get to do all of these things. That's one of the really good benefits of having Live Dangerously in play, is that this card is super effective. Got his other katana, got another ally. Okay, so let's do his turn. Okay, so on his turn, he's going to get 1 less threat than I originally said. So he's going to get 1 plus 2 for the 2 acceleration tokens is 3. Plus 1 from this is 4. Plus 1 from this is 5. He's at 8 plus 5 is 13. The limit is 11. So he's going to go ahead and trigger that. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so he has completed his hostile takeover, and now he is trying to corporate acquisition. So he has taken over a branch of Stark Industries, and now he's going to use it to help him quadruple the manufacturing capabilities of Oscorp. Okay, so this one says when revealed, advance to stage 2B. So nothing happens on this side, so we just flip over to this side. Okay, and then on this one, if he completes it, we just lose. We're guaranteed to have an extra encounter card while this one's in play. It starts with 1 threat. It goes up by 2 every turn. So we're going to lose fairly quickly with this, with that in play. But like I said, losing with Deadpool is more fun than winning with just about any other character, just because it's so silly and just fun to see what happens. Okay, so he did that. Like I said, it starts with 1 threat. The acceleration tokens stay, so those are still on there. And then that was all that. Now he is going to attack me, and he is not stunned anymore. Let's see, do I have any interrupts? I don't think so. Okay, so he's going to attack me. He's going to attack me for 3 plus 1 is 4. So he's attacking me for 4 plus a card. I defend for 1, so I'm probably going to die anyway. So I'm not going to defend it. So I will take 3, 4, 5 damage, which will knock me out. So we will add another acceleration token onto the main scheme and flip over to alter ego form and reset to 1. Now, the only thing I'm not 100% sure about, and I'm just going to go with the rule that helps me the most is what I'm going to go with, just because I'm already losing badly enough as it is. I'm sure that it would probably be the rule that helps me the least, would probably be the real rule. I'm not sure if It Ain't Over would stay or if it would go, because the main scheme technically changed to a different main scheme. So I'm not sure if that means that this It Ain't Over would leave play because it says attached to the main scheme. I'm going to go with it stays just to help myself out a little bit. So now the threat limit on the main scheme is +6. So it's 16 right now. It's probably not going to matter. I'm probably still going to lose anyway, but I'm not sure exactly what the rule is on that. My guess is that since it changed, it's supposed to get discarded. but I'm not sure because all the tokens and stuff, like all the acceleration tokens, stay. So I'm not sure. So we'll just go with that for now. Okay, so he attacked me, and then we are going to get encounter cards, and we are going to get 3 encounter cards. 1 for normal, 1 for the main scheme having 1 on it, and then 1 for live dangerously. So, oh, and technically, I forgot about his extra boost card, so he technically attacked me for more. Place 1 infamy counter on criminal enterprise, or remove 1 madness counter from state of madness. Okay, so that would have been part of his attack. Okay, and then I'm getting 3 encounter cards. 1, 2, 3. First one is this is the modular set that I included. So the next modular set in alphabetical order was Crime, and this is from the Mojo set. And I thought that was awesome that worked out. That I was playing the criminal enterprise version of Green Goblin, and Crime is the one that happened to be next in alphabetical order. Okay, so this one says it starts with 5 threat plus 1, so 6. The villain cannot take damage. Spend X fists to remove that many threat from this scheme. So the villain essentially has guard. So I have to remove all of the threat from that scheme before I can attack the villain. Next encounter card is the villain attacks you. Since I'm in alter ego form, it gains surge. So I'll draw a new one to replace it. Law and Order. Also starts with 6 threat. Each friendly character gets -2 attack. And I can get rid of it by spending lightning resources, energy resources. And my last encounter card is Shadow of the Past. All right. Why not? Deadpool's kind of cool. He's got technically like 2 different Shadow of the Past sets, essentially. So when you have Shadow of the Past come out on him, you use this kind of standard one. So he's got a minion, he's got a side scheme, he's got 3 cards that get shuffled in. But then playing as the pool aspect, the pink cards, you have these extra cards, extra bad cards, and there's another essentially Shadow of the Past card that gets shuffled into the deck called Crisis of Infinite Deadpools or something like that. And then you have all these extra cards that can come out. So he's essentially got 2 Shadow of the Past cards because, he's not insane enough. So I've got Butler coming into play against me. It says when he schemes, place that threat on involuntary procedures if able, which is the side scheme that comes in with him. Involuntary procedures, after Deadpool takes any amount of damage, place threat here. Then if there is 10 or more threat here, remove this card from the game. So we'll set that here. So many side schemes in play. Okay. And then the other 3 cards get shuffled in. Okay. All right, so then it's my turn. There are 3 acceleration tokens on the main scheme, so now my montage produces 4 resources, so I'm going to play that as 4 resources. I only have, the most expensive card I have is 3, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to move this off to the side over here a bit. Give myself a little bit more room. I have so many cards in play. Okay. And then Kid Pool's attacks gain piercing, which just means that I have the ability to get through tough. The villain can't take damage while Dragnet is in play, so I need to get rid of that if possible. So we are going to heal for 8 with Wade Wilson. And then I'm going to use his once per round action to search my deck for a Deadpool event. And I'm going to grab Yoo-Hoo and put it in my hand. Shuffle the rest. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip over to hero side. Okay, and then I am going to use Stick-to-Itiveness and spend a Fist resource. I will spend Deadpool's Katana to ready my identity, ready my hero. And then I am going to thwart for, let's see, I'll just do all of it. So I'll play Yoo-Hoo. I'm going to discard Deadpool Core Ship to play Yoo-Hoo. Take any amount of damage to remove an equal amount of threat from a scheme. So I'll take 6 damage to remove 6 threat from Dragnet. To get rid of that. And then even now that he can take damage, any attacks that I do are going to be -2 because of Law and Order. So then I am going to thwart for 2 plus 1 with Bob plus 1 with Kidpool. And that's 4 threat off of that scheme. And then I'm going to discard the Chimichanga Truck for 1 resource to play I Got This. Since all of these icons are in play, I can do all of these. I'm going to remove 2 threat from a scheme, so I'm going to get rid of Law and Order. So now my attacks are not reduced. And then I can ready an ally I control. So I'll ready Kidpool. I'll ready Bob, actually. And then I can draw a card, so I'll draw a card. And I got Get Good. And the last thing I can do is I can deal 3 damage to an enemy, so I'm going to do that to Butler to get him off the board. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do on my turn is I'm going to play Get Ragey and ready an ally. I'm going to ready Kidpool, and that ally gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. And so then I am going to use both Kidpool and Bob to attack Green Goblin for a total of 3. 1, 2, 3, down to 5. Okay. And then I will go ahead and ready all of my stuff. And draw my new hand of, I have 1 card in my hand. Oh, I can actually play Get Good. So I forgot about this. So it says reduce the cost to play Get Good by 2 if you did not win your previous game of Marvel Champions. My previous game of Marvel Champions was not my previously recorded game. It was actually a game I played with a friend of mine, and we played against Sabretooth yesterday, and we lost. So I did not win the last game I played of Marvel Champions. So this card costs 2 less, so it's free. And it says when a player would be defeated, they set their hit point dial to 1 and change to alter ego form instead. Remove this card from the game. So we're going to do that. Now, I'm assuming that the way that that's meant to be played is that's more of a multiplayer card where I could give that to someone else, because that's essentially already what I do. So I'm not sure if that would replace my, because this says forced interrupt when a player would be defeated, and my other one is a forced interrupt when you would be defeated. So I'm not sure which one would take precedence, because my hero specific one makes me add an acceleration token to the main scheme, but this one doesn't. Again, I am not sure exactly, so I'm probably just going to go with the one that is the most useful for me and do this one. Deadpool adds a lot of weird things to the game. The game is already kind of complex enough with timing and all that kind of stuff, but that just makes it even worse. Okay, and I went ahead and drew my new hand, so I've got another I got this. That'll be good. I got two I got this. If I can play both of those, that'd be great. Head pool, another ally. Got my signature ally, Cable. He is better with more acceleration tokens on the main scheme, so he gets +1/+1 to each of his stats for each acceleration token. And then I got Pool Inspection, which removes threat, ignoring crisis icon and all that stuff. And then, so this is one of those cards. This and one other event that he has, you basically can only play if you have Live Dangerously in play because they cost so many resources. And so it's good that I have that. Okay, so then it is Green Goblin's turn. And he is going to get, let's see, so he's going to get 2 threat normally. And then he's going to get +3 for the acceleration tokens, so that brings him up to 5. And then he's going to get 2 more from my 2 allies, so that's 7. He's going to get another one for Live Dangerously, that's 8. So he's getting 8 threat on the main scheme, which brings him up to 9. But remember, the main scheme's threat limit is increased from, it ain't over, so it's at 16 right now. Okay, and then he's going to attack me, and I think I'm probably going to have one of my allies take it. I don't have any interrupts, I don't think. So I'm going to have Bob take it, just because he's a little bit less useful than Kid Pool. So Bob is going to take 3, 4 plus 2, so 6 damage on Bob. Bob gets knocked out. Okay, and then I am going to get, let's see, 3 encounter cards again, because there's 1, or is it 4? I have 4 encounter cards to deal with this time, because I get 1 normally, 1 from the main scheme, 1 from Live Dangerously, 1 from Involuntary Procedures. So that's 4 encounter cards. All right, let's see what happens. First one, another Private Security Specialist. So that's just a minion that sits in front of me. Okay. Another Hired Gun. Choose to either give the villain a face-down boost card or place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. Again, I don't have a choice. I have to give him the boost card because Criminal Enterprise isn't face up. Next one, Build the Case. After a side scheme is defeated, place 1 clue counter here. Then if there is at least 3 clue counters here, discard this card. That would have been nice for that to have come up when I defeated those other 2 side schemes a second ago. And another side scheme, Crime Scene Investigation, comes in with 6 threat, and threat cannot be removed from other schemes until I get rid of that one. This modular encounter set from the Mojo set is kind of rough. I kind of forgot. It's been a while since I've played with it. Okay. In the grand scheme of things, that could have been a lot worse, though, because he didn't actually do anything directly to me with any of those 4 encounter cards. So I will take it. Okay. All right, so I am going to deal 2 damage to the private security specialist with Kid Pool. I'm going to exhaust Kid Pool to do 2 damage there. And then I'm going to deal a damage to myself and use the katanas to deal another 2 damage to the private security specialist to get rid of that. Since he has guard, just get rid of that. Then I am going to spend 1 resource to play I Got This, and we get to do all of them again. I'm going to deal 3 damage to an enemy. I'm going to get rid of the hired gun. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. I have to do crime scene investigation, so I'll remove 2 threat from that. Ready an ally you control, so I'll ready Kid Pool and draw a card. So that card is resolved, and the card I drew was Dog Pool. Okay. Then I am going to discard Mulligan as a resource and play I Got This again. In order to fully benefit from that, I need to use Kid Pool again. So I'm going to use Kid Pool again to attack for 2 on Green Goblin. So then I'm going to deal 3 damage to an enemy. Okay, so I'm going to ready an ally I control. I did that. I'm going to draw a card. I drew Da Bomb. I'm going to remove 2 threat from a scheme. I'm going to remove it from crime scene investigation because, again, I don't have a choice. And then the last thing I can do is I can deal 3 damage to an enemy, and I'm going to deal that to Green Goblin to finally take out his first stage. Okay, so then let me grab his card here and replace it with the next one. When revealed, deal 4 indirect damage to each player. I will deal... Let's see, how much health do I have? I have 2 health. Shoot. That's okay, I guess. So I will deal 2 to Kid Pool, which knocks him out. 2 to myself, which knocks me out. I will use Get Good. When a player would be defeated, set their hit point dial to 1, change to alter ego form, remove this card from the game. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. So I have to change to alter ego form and reset to 1. And then Green Goblin's hit points reset to 18, it looks like. Yep, 18. To be completely honest, this scenario is going a lot better than it probably should be, with how ridiculous Deadpool is. Okay, so then since I got forced to flip over to alter ego side, I might as well heal up to 9 again. And then since I was forced to flip and didn't choose to flip, I actually have my 1 flip per turn available to me, so I can flip back over. And then I'm going to use my stick-to-itiveness, and that requires me to spend a fist resource. I'm not going to be able to play all of these cards in my hand anyway, so I'm going to spend the fist resource from Da Bomb, and that lets me ready my hero. And then I'm going to... Let's use my hero to thwart for 2 to get rid of the crime scene investigation. Since I defeated a side scheme, I get to place a counter on Build the Case. And then I've got, let's see, I can play 1 more card. I can play one of these 3 allies. So I can play Headpool. Whenever he attacks and damages a minion, that minion attacks another enemy. So that isn't useful right now. Dogpool has Retaliate and comes in with Tough. And then Cable is better with more acceleration icons on the main scheme. So I think I'm going to play Cable. So I'm going to discard these other 3 cards to play Cable. And put him here. And he gets +1 thwart and +1 attack up to a max of 3 for each acceleration token on the main scheme. There's 3. So I'm going to use him to attack for 5. And he will take a consequential damage. And I will knock Green Goblin down to 13. Okay. Or I could thwart for 4. Am I going to lose if I don't thwart for 4? So if I don't thwart for 4, he's going to get 2, 3, 4, 7 threat on the main scheme, and he's at 9 out of 16. Yeah, I'm going to have to thwart with Cable instead of attacking with Cable. I might lose anyway, but I might as well give myself the best shot. So I'm going to thwart for 4 with Cable instead of attacking for 5. Okay. All right, so then I need to ready all of my stuff. And then I'm going to have to give myself an extra encounter card for the round because I'm going to have to shuffle my deck. So I need to draw up to 7. I only have 2, so I will shuffle and draw 5 more. Okay, so I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Okay, let's see what we got. So we got Not My Responsibility. That's going to be helpful because I'm at full health right now. That's awesome. That was perfect. And I got this twice again. Oh man, that was a good draw. Okay, so he's going to get, so he always gets 2. And then he's going to get 3 more for the acceleration tokens, so that's 5. 6, 7 threat is how much he's getting. So I'm going to do Not My Responsibility. When any amount of damage, when any amount of threat would be placed on a scheme, you or your ally takes that instead. So I'm going to deal 7 damage to Cable and prevent all of that threat from being added onto the main scheme. Or I might actually keep Cable because his damage is better than mine right now. So I'll just deal 7 to myself and go down to 2. And then, yeah, because then next turn I can attack with him twice. Okay, because I got Get Ragey. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and then he is going to attack me for 4, 5 plus 2 boost cards. And I'm just going to take it and flip over. So 5. So it would have been 4, 5, 6. And remove a counter from State of Madness. Shoot. That's okay, I guess. All right, so he's going to flip back to Norman Osborn. And I get knocked out, which means I get reset to 1 health. And we add another acceleration token to the main scheme. And then I have an extra encounter card for running out of my deck. And then he is giving me a normal one plus a second one for the main scheme. Plus another one here. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered because I got knocked out anyway, but he should have gotten, I missed this acceleration. So I should have taken 1 more damage, but I got knocked out anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so encounter cards. I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the one I have. So 5 total encounter cards. 2, 3, 4. Okay. First one. Elementary, my dear Mojo. Move all threat from a side scheme to the main scheme. Okay. Or discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a side scheme is discarded and reveal that card. Ugh. The main scheme's threat limit is 18 now. So I could move these 6 over. And it would be at 11. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. I don't want to get rid of Live Dangerously because that's giving me all those icons. Okay. The villain schemes. He schemes for 2 plus 0. So he's getting 2 on the main scheme. 13 out of 18. Next encounter card, Oscorp Manufacturing. He is in Norman Osborn form, so he'll get +1, so this will come in with 3 threat. I was just thinking about this card here. Elementary, my dear Mojo says that side scheme is defeated. So I wonder if that counts towards build the case. So I'll put a counter on there because I'm assuming that counts. Okay, next one is Mutated Soldier. Comes in with Tough. After it activates, heal all damage from it. So you got to hit it all at once. Otherwise, it just heals. And last one is Payoff. Just another side scheme with 2 threat on it. Okay. It's really unfortunate that he flipped to Norman Osborn's side, because if he hadn't done that, I think I could have gotten close to killing him. But that's okay. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is, do I even want to heal? Let's discard a card and play Downtime, which improves my recovery by 2, so I can actually heal 10. So let me attach that on here like I did with Endurance. And then I'm going to exhaust and heal 10 up to 11. And then I am going to use his ability to search my deck for a Deadpool event, and I'm going to find Maximum Effort and add it to my hand, and then shuffle. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Alter Ego, or to Hero Form. And I'm going to use Stick-to-itiveness. Actually, here, let's do it this way. I'm going to use Deadpool's Katana. I'm going to exhaust it and deal myself a damage to deal 2 damage to Green Goblin, or to Norman, which just gets rid of counters, to make him flip back over to Green Goblin side so I can actually attack him. I think I messed something up in my favor, actually. I think I had him scheme a little bit ago, and he schemed for 2, I think, and he shouldn't have. So, because he was confused. So, probably not going to make a huge difference. It might, actually. I think I might actually be able to win this turn if I can get enough damage. Yeah, because he schemed, and then the next card was a 0 boost card, so he would have schemed for 2, and he wouldn't have been able to since he was confused. Okay. Then I'm going to spend a fist resource. Do I even want to do that? I'm going to spend... I'm going to attack with Cable. I should do that first. So Cable's going to attack for 5 on Green Goblin. Down to 13. And then I'm going to play Get Ragey. Ready an ally. That ally gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. So I'm going to ready Cable and then attack with him again for 6. Oh, when I flipped over to this side, I should have had to take 4 indirect damage. So I will take 4 damage. So I should be at 6. Okay, then I'm going to discard and I Got This to play the other I Got This. So I'm going to deal 3 damage to an enemy. 1, 2, 3. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. It doesn't really matter. I'll just get rid of one of these side schemes. I'm gonna win right now anyway, so it shouldn't matter. Ready an ally you control and draw a card. And then I can win with Cable attacking for 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could have played maximum effort and taken 4 damage and dealt 4 damage to him that way. Either way, he gets knocked out. Oh man, I'm sure I made lots of mistakes. I'm sure that this probably shouldn't have carried over to the second scheme, but I'm going to take it. Even if it's got an asterisk on it, I will take it because I was not expecting to win that. Deadpool is insane. Like, I cannot believe how well they took such an insane, silly character and actually ported over fairly well to this highly mechanical card game. Like, it's just so cool. But anyway, so we'll count that as a win. Next character we're going to be playing as is Doctor Strange, which is another like very, very powerful character, and we'll be playing against the other version of the Green Goblin. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Deadpool is just nuts. I'm sure I made lots of mistakes. I'll try to make sure I put mistakes in the subtitles, so make sure you turn on those Klingon subtitles whenever you watch one of these videos. I try to add things in at the end. So thanks, everybody. Catch you on the next one.